Welcome to Why They Play the Game, a show created to discuss the NBA on and off the court. I'm just one of your co-hosts, Michael Eric Owens.
And I'm Ken Hayes.
Hey, my brother, how you doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
Oh
Finals
man,
start
listen,
tomorrow?
the finals start tomorrow. We have the last two teams standing. Everybody else have gone fishing, have been knocked out, Ken. As we get going into our discussion, folks, go ahead, hit that like, that subscribe, and that notification button. Love your comments from the last show. Keep them coming. We want to know your opinions about what's about to take place. You know, it starts, Ken. It starts tomorrow, man. So, what are your? I have some data that I'm gonna
Okay.
put out here. Let me put out a little data, and then
We'll
I
get
want
to
to get your
talking.
opinion. Yeah.
Okay.
So we know the season matchup, the Thunder swept.
Right.
Okay, so they had played in December and also in March. The Thunder
March.
beat them in December, 120 to 114. SGA dropped 4-5 on them. Okay, he only shot 15 to 22 from the field, 11-11 from the free throw line. Had a monster game in March 29th. They beat him 132 to 111. He dropped the ice number on him, 33. See, Ken, these young folks don't know that. See what I just dropped in there, Ken, a little
Yes, man.
basketball history. Yeah, Iceman. No, Iceman was 44, wasn't he?
Oh,
Oh, I'm
you're right.
wrong
All
on
right.
that. Kareem was
You're
33.
three.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. There we go, folks. There we go. I had to correct my basketball history, but he dropped 33 on him and 8 assists. So Ken, um, what do you think going in? What was your initial thoughts? Well, first of all, Ken, we didn't know. We kind of figured the Thunder had the probability of being there. We
Right.
didn't think Indiana was going to necessarily be there. So talk a little bit about Indiana's rise to the championship, and what do you think about that, and then a little bit about the matchup.
So I'll say, I think we predicted or picked who we thought were going to get to the finals. And my prediction was OKC and Boston. Um, Half of it's right, half of it's wrong. So 50-50 on
No
that.
doubt.
Um, Indiana, they had some injuries and, some struggles. Let's just say in we'll say the first 25% of the season came out of there, start, moving in the right direction. I In the playoffs, they faced Milwaukee. I said the Bucks don't have a chance, um, regardless of injuries or whatever the case may be. But I thought Cleveland would, kind of take Indiana down. Cleveland had injuries here or there. You can't, injuries is just part of the game. And then they faced New York, in which New York came off the series of beating Boston. They was on top of the hill. Um, Indiana just played as a team. They didn't care who was the leading scorer, who had the most points, who had the most assists or rebounds. They just played as a team. They're a deep team. They play aggressive and they play fast. And the thing about Indiana also is that um, with the bench that they have, I'll put it this way: OKC can't take them lightly. And they coach by Rick Carlisle is a good coach. Has been around for a long time, has won the chip. So Indiana it's a good ball team, balance. The thing that I'll say in my mind that Indiana they can they'll turn the ball over some, which you kind of look at them sideways a little bit for me. Um, and then the other thing also is that sometimes they get a little impatient.
Mm.
But I'll say this, that if Indiana can limit the turnovers, you know, uh, they can make this go seven. I don't think I predict OKC to win. And by the hat that you're wearing, so I'm going to not assume, knowing that you're going to pick OKC too.
No doubt, bro. No
But
doubt.
I mean, and then the thing about it, Indiana has never won a NBA championship. They've won multiple ABA championships. OKC has never won an NBA championship as being known as OKC, but they came from Seattle, and Seattle
Correct.
has won an NBA championship. And Mike, let
Correct.
me say this also for Indiana. To me, the most important person on that team, as far as if they want to win this title, is Miles Turner. If Miles Turner can hit some threes consistently and not, I think he's played well throughout the playoffs. But if he can just, there's some games that I won't say taken off, he just didn't shoot well.
Mm-hmm.
But if he can shoot the three on a consistent basis, and give him the rebounding and the defense, I think that'll make a difference. He's averaging about 15 and some change. But and
No, go ahead, Ken.
and then on OKC side, I think to me, Jalen Williams is the key for them. I know he has some struggles in the conference finals against Minnesota, but he has, to me, Mike, he has to average 20 a game. You know, and then the other thing with OKC, I just think that Holmgren and Hartenstein are going to be keys too.
Mm-hmm.
Hartenstein needs to play a little bit more aggressive for me. It just seems like he takes games off. He doesn't. I would say in the beginning of the season, you'll see him get all these offensive rebounds. Get some points in the paint. I didn't see that too much in, I'll say, the Western Conference Finals or anything like that. So,
Real good analysis, man. Getting back to Indiana, I agree with you. I mean, Indiana is a team. I think Indiana, again, it would. While I give Indiana credit, I will not be remiss by not pointing out the fact that you had major players out, and your team was full. Okay, that's like saying if the Bucks were healthy and Halliburton was out, you would say Indiana's going to beat Milwaukee. Of course you wouldn't, right? And so I don't want to downplay Cleveland. Garland was out the first couple of games.
Right.
He was hurt. He came back. His toe was still jacked up. You could tell he wasn't what he
100%.
was. Hunter was out. He was down. Mobley went down. So I mean, you're very fortunate in that. New York the same way. There was some things happened. We unfortunate. JT went down. So there was some things, some luck, if we could say that helped them get to where they are. But they were they were the healthiest at the end, and they were playing team basketball. So we will give them that. But they about to run up against something to look different. This is to me, Ken. This is offense versus defense. When you look at the numbers, what's so crazy about it, and the reason why I say it's offense versus defense, because even though the Thunder averaged more points per game than Indiana, the Thunder, they only let go 107 points a game. I mean, you not gonna come in and shoot them out. You just not gonna do that. And that's been Indiana's MO. We gonna run you out the gym. We're going to push the ball up. You score, we don't care. We're going to try to get down and get a layup. Now you're running against a defensive juggernaut. And let me tell you something. If Halliburton thought he was having a difficult time in last series, trust me, when you got your boy Dork and Williams and you got these SGA and you got all these boys running up on you, it's going to be tight, man. I think there's a reason why they got handled like they got handled during the regular season. Now, one person can say, well, this is about experience. Well, who's got the experience? Who's got the experience advantage in this? No, none of them do. I mean, Halliburton's a young player. Neesmith's a young player. Naismith's a young player. Turner is about the only one that's got some level of maybe maturity as being on the Pacers, longest pacer, active pacer.
I think he's been in the league for like
exactly.
7.
So you don't see there is no like we're the more experienced team. Therefore, the Thunder's younger. I get that, but when you look at Indiana's not an old team,
no.
And so we're looking there. I don't give the advantage to either one of those teams. Offensively, as I said, Ken, when you think about it for the season, I mean, you look at these numbers and you realize that OKC averaged 120.5 points a game. Okay. And the Pacers averaged 117. And they're saying this is offense and defense. Now, listen, defensive rating. The OKC is a better defensive team. They're top 5, top 1 or 2 throughout the whole year. And so when you look at what Indiana's facing coming up into OKC, coming up into a hostile, trust me, in hostile environment, it's going to be difficult for Indiana. To me, Ken, like we said in every series, that first game is crucial.
Oh, definitely.
For Indiana, in my opinion, for Indiana to make this, to extend this series, they have to win the first game.
You think they have to win the first game?
They have to win. If they lose the first 2 in OKC, it might be done in 5.
I think
I'm
they
just
need
gonna
to
tell you like that.
I think they have to. I'll say this. I think they have to split.
Yeah, they better win the first one, bro. Because that second one gonna be that second one. They might get stomped. I'll be honest with you. They game 1 for them is more important than OKC because OKC can win on the road. They can come in. They didn't already prove it. They can come in and win on the road, man. So Indiana, when you look at the matchups, you talked about Turner. Turner, man, Turner better get ready to play in the paint. And he better get ready to come out on that perimeter because Chet gonna put him on that perimeter and Hardenstein gonna put him in that paint. And you got the bigger Williams that comes in and he plays some physical basketball too. You look at Jay Will, like you talked about him being able to step up to the plate, man. But man, they got some dudes, man. I'm just gonna be honest with you. They can run them off the bench, Ken. I've been watching this team all year long, and I'm telling you, if this series is for the Thunder to lose.
Okay, I can't disagree with that.
Yeah, it's for the Thunder to lose. Go ahead, Ken.
Mike, I'm gonna switch just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you think the NBA is happy with 2 small market teams in the final?
Oh man, I almost cussed. Ken, they punching the wall. Ken, they choke. Hey, they might be choking their significant others. Ken, they do not want. Ken, they do what? Not a New York, not a LA, not a Golden State, not a superstar that they can just like. Nah, man, they don't like this, man. They don't like this. But this is what the NBA has turned into now. The parity among teams, Ken, in the new CBA agreement that when you can't now get these superstars to come and this big 3 come together, and we see how unsuccessful that's been. And I think I give Indiana credit. What Indiana and OKC has said, if we get quality players that play hard and we have a somewhat superstar, okay? Because I to me, Indiana does not have a superstar.
I agree.
Okay, they have good players. They may have an all-star in Halliburton, maybe, but anytime for me, when you go a triple-double, 30-something, you come back, you get 8 points, your superstar card is pulled. You can't. Superstars are not. You know what I'm saying? There's only a handful of superstars in the league. Okay, Ken, I want us, after the season over, let's have a discussion about who are the superstars, not all-stars or good players, superstars. Man, listen, and I heard, I forget who was talking the other day. It was a basketball analyst, but he was talking about superstars change ticket prices.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely.
You see what I'm saying? And really, the only one that might be SGA. You know, it might be if you watch the Thunder. And what we have to understand is a lot of basketball fans are not watching OKC. And so while they hear that, you know, SGA is this great player, they're not following his career like they following Steph or LeBron or KD or Giannis or Dame. You know, those folks have like this following, man, for years. Maybe look at LeBron,
Oh,
decades.
right.
And so, no, Ken, I what's your opinion, bro? I don't think they happy with.
I mean, SGA just won his first MVP. I think superstar, up and coming, or let's just say, uh, about to let him in the door. So that's the that's the only person that's close. Um, Everybody else, okay,
I mean,
and that's it.
good players. I
Right.
mean, and if I mean, listen, if you say to me, "Hey, look, man, man, even at this stage of his game, man, I got tickets tonight, man. Brian coming, man. I got
Oh
front row. You
shoot,
coming? I'm there, man. I'm there. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Steph coming in,
coming
Giannis
right.
coming in. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am there, right? If you tell me, man, hey, look, man, it's snowing outside, and man, I got some front row tickets, man. SGA coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't know, dog. I might be able to catch it at the crib. You know what I'm saying? My front row seat. And so I'm saying, kid, it's no. I just, at the end of the day, it's about ratings, man. It's about money. And the larger question that we can't even begin to answer in this podcast is, does this make the NBA begin to do Adam and others begin to think like, hey, what direction are we going? Because in my opinion, Ken, you would have more excitement. I think you would have more if the NBA equally covered these teams.
Oh
We've talked about it on this show countless times. You can look at the NBA today. You can look at all these. All you getting is Boston, New York, Golden State, and
L.A.
LA. You're not hearing about Tyrese. You're not hearing about, Turner. You're not hearing about, SGA or Jay Will. You're not hearing about these people on a regular basis. They have a great game. They might make it on ESPN. You don't hear about that, man. That's why you don't have that fan base that we're saying like, oh my God, OKC is there. Indiana's there. You don't have that fan base outside of those two cities, or those who kind of just fall in love with a player, right? With a brand,
Gotcha.
right? The player tracer, right? Listen, I'm a LeBron fan no matter where he go. That sort of person. That I got a jersey from Miami, I got a jersey from LA, I got a jersey. No, no, no.
All right.
Those are not the fans that you keep around, because LeBron retires,
What you gonna do
right?
then?
That's why you build that brand where, look, I am a Bucks fan. I'm a Thunder fan. No matter who there, doesn't matter. I support both of those teams. So Ken, who do you see? You talked about Turner, but who
Mm-hmm.
do you see being MVP in this series?
So I'm gonna go. I'll go. I'll go this way.
Well, hold on, Ken, before you answer that. Let me split that up.
Okay.
Okay. Who you think is going to be MVP for each team?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So on Indiana's side, if they win, let's just say they win this chip, I think Siakam will get MVP.
Mm.
To me, Siakam poses a threat. Um, what he 6'10", 6'11", somewhere around there. That he can shoot it, Mike. Post you up, shoot the three.
But
Well,
Dort gonna go on him to start off.
no,
You know that, right?
yeah, Dork
He,
he too small, Mike, for
bro.
Siakam. Man.
But that
But anyway,
strength, though, bro. You know that.
okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I love the matchup. Now, I love the matchup. But go ahead.
Siakam's already won a chip, so
Yeah.
he has the
Mm-hmm.
experience, and I just think
Mm-hmm.
that goes a long way. I mean, Mike, first round of playoffs, okay, I'm here. Second round, it gets a little, you
Mm-hmm.
start to sweat a little bit. Conference finals, either you here or you not.
Yeah.
I think a lot of players get traded because of their performance in the playoffs. But
Oh,
let me get back.
absolutely.
But let me get back to on the other side of OKC. I mean, it's just obvious, Mike, that SGA would be the MVP. Um, I would say that the thing that they're going to have to do, Indiana, is you just can't do it with one or two players. It's going to be a team effort to try to. I won't even say stop them, just slow them down. I'll give you an example of slowing him down. If he shoots 31 shots and gets 31 points, that's slowing him down.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not going to get many nights like that. But I think that's something that you want to do.
I think you're about to get the best version of SGA that we've seen. I think this dude is primed to show the basketball world that he deserves that MVP. I think this man has a game that Indiana has no answer for. No answer for. I wish he stopped pushing off a little bit with the left arm, though. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah. Hey, but I'm riding with him, though. I'm down with
There
him.
you go.
I had to tell you, brother. Listen, I just don't think they're probably going to try to put
Neesmith.
Neesmith on him. Nah, man. Neesmith showed that he couldn't handle Brunson. So I'm just here to tell you. And Neesmith defense is more physical than anything. It's trying to push you off. And one thing that I really have has given me a little distaste when it comes to the way the ref are man. Listen, there's a difference being physical than grabbing. Man, we got folks out there grabbing folks' jersey when they coming across the lane. Man, come on, man. That the 80s and the 90s wasn't like that. The 80s and 90s were physical. Yeah, they you felt them.
Right.
They had the hand check rule on you. But as far as you got guys going up, folks grabbing their jersey, hooking people all the time. Man, it's a difference between being physical, in my opinion, than just playing a reckless game. And I'm surprised, in all of the kind of what's been allowed to take place, that no one, knock on wood, that no one's got hurt seriously, because we've seen some stuff like, nah, bro, that's not a basketball move, man. It's and don't say I'm being physical. Right, I'm being physical because I push you in the back. I'm being physical. No, you're not, man. You can hurt me. Exactly. And so I'm hoping for the finals, man, that they clean up
some stuff,
some of that off the ball, grabbing, pushing, this, that, and the other thing in the game, because it's a different game now. And we realize that the calls always lean toward the offensive player. We get that. They want to see the 120s or 130s. We get that. They want to see as many threes up as possible. We get that. They don't want to see the game slowed down. We understand that. Yet and still, you got to call the game fairly. Right. I just think some things that I've seen some calls, especially against Brunson. Man, I was like, man, what are they gonna do? They gonna maul him to death? Like you gonna get a boy a call or whatever, man. Like, to me, it's just, and it wasn't working like that on the other side, man. So I was like, I don't know. I have a problem with that, man. And I understand you want to let some playoff basketball is more physical, and it gets why. This is what I don't understand, Ken, and I don't want to deviate, but why all of it? But the playoffs are different. It's the same game, ain't it?
The intensity has built up.
Man, come on, stop it, man. Like, listen, that's the attitude that, don't matter unless we win a championship. I mean, why play hard during the regular season? Because in the playoffs, I'm gonna play hard. Why play that? Because you're making like millions of dollars and people are paying to come to see you play your best basketball.
Right.
So see, man, that mentality that somehow you're only going to get good basketball because we're in the playoffs, man, is ridiculous, man. We never thought like that in the past. So, Ken.
So, on Indiana's side,
well, to me, man, I think Halliburton has got to have a amazing series. I think for them to have a chance, he's got to be he's going to have to dictate the pace. He's going to have to get everybody in action. I just think if Halliburton cannot perform at a high level, they don't stand a chance. And what I mean by that, he's got to be hitting his threes. And as nice, I know Halliburton, he hit the deep threes here and there. When you look at the numbers, he's terrible in this playoffs with his 3-point percentage. He's not shooting it well. And he's going to have to be a threat from there because if they feel like they can give him space, and they're too quick of a defense, they react too quickly, that's going to stifle them. And I just think it may be, again, I feel like if OKC can come in and play the level of defense that they have been known to play, they gonna stifle Indiana, man. Because you cannot. One thing you cannot do against OKC is turn the ball over.
Oh no, that's
So
right.
you
I agree with you,
you
100%, Mike.
man, man, I was looking at Minnesota like,
Yeah,
give me one of them turnovers. You know what I mean?
right.
You giving them out like that, and let me have one of them. I was like,
You
man,
get
like
one. You get one.
turnover after turnover after turnover. Don't forget about Alex Caruso though. Okay, Alex, man, that he
has
can
won
when
a
he come
chip.
off that bench. Yeah, exactly. He won a chip too.
So
Go
yeah.
ahead.
The thing about Caruso, he's going to give you defense. That's going to be his priority. Can shoot the three. I think he gives OKC, I'll say the second unit, a more calming effect on the floor. So he's been there before. So yeah, he's going to play an important role as far as that. I think you will see him on either Neesmith or Halliburton throughout the
Hey,
series.
Cason
So
Wallace, that young boy can ball, bruh. Can jump out the gym.
yeah, he can.
His defense is nasty, and he'll hit that three on you. So what I'm saying, man, they man, listen. Some folks ain't been watching them like they should have been watching them, but they have locked down, turned the lights out defense when they come out and they put them clamps on you. I'm telling you, it's gonna be difficult. All that running and gunning and this, that, and the other thing. I believe OKC is gonna shut that down. I think they have the athleticism, the speed to get back and get in the passing lanes. They're long, they're tall. They can shoot the three on all levels. They got you on all levels, man. They can shoot the three. They have players that can take you off the dribble. They got 6, 7 players that can grab their own shot at any time. So what I'm saying is this is a different level of competition for
Indiana.
the Indiana Pacers.
I tell you, to me, the person that we probably may see if OKC goes to a smaller lineup is Kendrick Williams.
Oh, absolutely. Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely. Oh, absolutely. I mean, again, it's all to me. I'm interested in the first quarter of the first game. That's what I'm interested in.
okay.
Who's coming out that is overwhelmed? This is experience that some of these boys ain't had at this level. Who's going to come out and ball home? This home court is extremely important in this series game. When you don't have veteran players and you got folks screaming at you, yelling at you, they had to divert Indiana's playing, because of the weather. We already told you could. Hey, the Thunder ain't even letting you in here. Hey, kid, nature ain't even gonna let you in here.
Yeah, I heard about that this morning.
Yeah. They looked out at the airplane. All they saw was thunder.
So, what's your prediction, Mike, for this series?
Man, I'm gonna say this. I believe it goes 6 games. I would give Indiana 2. I think that if they lose the first 2, if they don't split, so if they split, I think it's gonna go 6.
Okay, yeah, and
I think it. But let me say this, Ken. If they don't split, they gone in 5, bro. They gonna win that. I believe they're gonna win that game 3. I think gonna lose that game 4. And when they come back home, it's gonna be wrap. We're gonna be putting the banner up. I'm gonna be getting out the cigars. You know what I'm saying? Hey kid, I'm gonna go outside, take my 9 and shoot it up in the air like everybody else. Folks, I don't live in the city, so don't even worry about it. I'm out on acreage, so I ain't gonna go to jail.
Oh my goodness,
Kid, what's your prediction, bro?
I agree with you too, Mike. I think it's OKC in 6. I just think they got too much depth. They got the MVP, so I just think that OKC will win this. I think if Indiana has a chance, they have to split games between game 1 and 2. They have to.
Absolutely.
Right? So
absolutely. You because Ken, think about the odds. Okay, if they lose, if they lose the first 2, we only got 5 games left, right? And you need 4 of those games.
Yeah,
So
that's
do we
good.
realistically believe that you're gonna beat OKC 4 out of 5? Come on, it just no. It's as you said, it is critical that they split. If they split, if I'm as an OKC fan, I'm not worried at all because we handle things on the road. You understand? I just feel like just give them that death blow, dog. Yeah, just go ahead, just hit him right in the throat, kind of high. You know what I'm saying? Like send them back, let them see the thunder in the background. You know, we got to get out of here.
Oh,
But Ken, listen, any more on that because
no,
I want to briefly. Okay, so man, let's I want to get your thoughts, man, on Tom Thibodeau, man,
oh
getting
my,
fired after having the most successful season in 20 years.
25.
25 years, excuse me.
Yeah,
What are your thoughts on that, man?
man, Tibbs. I mean, Mike. Let's first let me take it on his part, the coach part. Tibbs will run his players in the ground. He's been doing that since he's been head coach. So that's just a given. He's going to play him more minutes than anybody else. Um, Tibbs is his first thought is defense. You know, um, one, let's just say, I think 50 games back to back at New York. Um, I think before he came in the last 25 years, they've won one playoff game. So I think he's taken them he took them to the Eastern Conference Finals, in which they probably should have won the series. But
Mm-hmm.
I know there was some, let's just say, 3 quarters in the season. Bridges came out saying we just playing too many minutes. We can't, strain on, starting five. I won't say no. I will say this: didn't play the bench, didn't develop them, and I think a couple of them, played pretty well when they got a little time in, during the series. So that's just tips. I think ownership, they made a rash decision. This is the new NBA. Oh, if we
Mm-hmm.
fire the coach, things will get better and so on and so forth. We saw that with Malone. We saw that with Griff. We saw that with Bud. That's
Yeah. Oh, and Bug got let go too by Phoenix. We might
right,
well
exactly.
interject that, right?
So the only thing that ownership did, I'll say, somewhat right is that they did it, maybe 48 hours, 72 hours after season was over. So, before the draft starts and everything else. And that's probably the only thing they did right in this situation, but that's kind of hard to justify. But anyway, I just think ownership did him wrong. I mean, he's been successful in New York. Brunson came in after the series was over, gave him a vote of confidence. But Mike, I'm gonna say this. I think I'm gonna say I could be wrong about this, but I think the players said we tired of him. That's just my thought. I mean, because
Yeah.
like I said, in this NBA right now, coaches get fired for winning a chip. So
Yeah, I mean it's who knows, man. Again, when you have a successful coach, you have a successful organization by any means, stretch of the imagination. This was a successful year for New York.
oh,
Let's keep it real. Like
put
this
them back on the
was
map.
exactly. So when I heard that, I was like, now can you go and make some adjustments? Can you teach a old dog new tricks, so to speak?
Mm-hmm.
That's the conversation you need to have, but you can't have that conversation 48, 72 hours after you didn't lost in each conference. That made me you already said if we lose, if we don't win a chip, he gone.
But Mike, let
You
me
know.
stop you right there.
Mm-hmm.
I think if if New York would have lost to Boston, Tibbs will still be there.
You probably right. You probably right. You probably right. And again, I don't think you can take like you know the loss of a goal as your final decision based upon the success of your season, right? So, in other words, even when you look at Milwaukee, you can't you could make the argument, well, maybe Milwaukee should have even been in the play-in with all the injuries they had. Maybe Milwaukee wouldn't even made the playoffs if you didn't have the caliber players like Giannis, the in and out of the lineup of Dame. Chris, where was he? Like all of that. You could even look at Milwaukee season and say, man, they should have never even really been in fifth place. You understand what I'm saying? So you
Right.
can't look and go, oh my God. You can look at New York and say, yes, do they need to develop their young talent? Yes. But I cannot look at New York and go, oh, they got all the pieces.
No.
They don't have all the pieces.
No.
I don't care. They say Mike Malone is the leading candidate. Bring in Mike. I love Mike Malone. I ain't got no problem with him. He's got the same problem Tibbs got. where is your other players that are going to contribute in a way that you can win a championship? And I don't see that. They don't have that. They have some very good players on that team. Again, we would say Jalen is a star. I wouldn't say he's a superstar. Okay, so again, you running into those Karl Anthony Towns. Yes, he had a good series, but he'll go ghost on you. We know that. They wasn't getting back on defense. Exactly. So what I'm saying is, you're exactly right, Ken. It's that reaction that they think is going to ease the fans' frustration with ownership. Oh, we acted. We immediately acted. So now fans are like, okay, well, they gon' no, that was, to me, that was not a good move, man. And like you say, especially after your best player came out and endorsed him.
Mike, let me say this, and I'll wrap this up. And I know you mentioned Mike Malone is probably the leading candidate. They mentioned Jay Wright because of his Villanova connection with, Brunson and
So what are we going to do now? We're going to have a Villanova reunion?
Right.
Didn't they try that before? Didn't they try that before with college coaches that have come up and they didn't buy it, and all of a sudden what?
No.
Stop it.
And then the last person they talked about was Mike Brown from Sacramento. I don't really see that happening, but But man, my last thought on this, Mike.
Go ahead, Ken.
They gave Tibbs a 3-year extension.
When did they get? When the season before the season started?
I think this was like maybe mid-season, I believe.
Oh, you getting paid?
Right, exactly.
You gonna be paying the coach while he's sitting around, having his pina coladas.
Ask Milwaukee how's that's working out.
I know exactly, Ken. Last word, my brother.
Man, Mike. So I want everybody to watch the podcast and just in the comments just pick who they think is going to win and how long the series is going to last. So that's my thought. I talked to some people who view the podcast and they're kind of excited about the finals. So pick your team and see what happens.
There you go, folks. You heard it. You heard it from Ken. The world of sports unites us. Let us take this unity into our everyday life. This is why they play the game.